What do you do when she ignores you? Do you chase her? Text her twice? Pretend it doesn't bother you? Let me save you from making the mistake 99% of men make. Because when a woman starts ignoring you, it's not always because she's lost interest. Sometimes it's a test. Other times it's power play. And in rare moments, it's ego warfare. In this video, I'm going to show you how to flip the script without saying a single desperate word. You'll learn how to act with cold, stoic precision, how to break her ego without breaking your frame, and most of all, how to become the kind of man she can't afford to ignore. You'll walk away from this with a strategy so simple, so psychologically dangerous, it'll feel like you're cheating the system. This isn't about revenge, it's about reclaiming your power, because a Stoic doesn't react, he recalculates. Let's get into it. 1. Indifference is the loudest response. When a woman ignores you, your instinct is to react, to say something, to fix it, to regain control. But a Stoic man does the opposite. He goes silent, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in absolute indifference. And that, my friend, is the loudest message you could ever send. You see, most women expect a reaction. They expect confusion, frustration, maybe even a bit of pleading. That fuels the ego. It tells her, I still have power. But when you meet her silence with stillness, her ego starts to shake. Why? Because silence leaves a blank canvas and people project onto blank spaces. She starts wondering, did I go too far? Why isn't he reacting? Did he lose interest? And just like that, you've reversed the dynamic. Indifference tells her, I don't need your attention to validate my worth. I don't chase approval. I choose who I engage with. And you've just disqualified yourself. The beauty of Stoicism is that it doesn't just protect your pride. It makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable men are unforgettable. So next time she goes quiet, don't flinch. Don't post cryptic stories. Don't try to prove your value. Just vanish, calmly, confidently. Let her ego starve in the silence. Let her question what she thought she knew. Because indifference is a power most men never master. 2. Needing nothing, expecting even less. There's one thing more dangerous than being rejected. It's needing something from someone who's already pulled away. This is where 99% of guys fumble. They expect closure. They expect respect. They expect decency. But here's the brutal Stoic truth. Expectation is a trap. When a woman ignores you and you still expect her to care, to explain, to respond, you've handed her the script. And she knows exactly how the story ends. With you in confusion, her in control, and your ego in pieces, but the man who needs nothing, he breaks the frame. He doesn't just walk away, he walks away with zero emotional debt, no need for revenge, no need for games. And this shakes her ego in ways no insult ever could. Because when a man shows that he's unfazed, that he's self-contained, that he doesn't need her participation to feel whole, he becomes untouchable. The key isn't to be emotionless, it's to be emotionally self-governing. You can feel the sting, but you don't act on it. And when she realizes she no longer has influence over your state, that's when the tables turn. Be the man who wants nothing. Because in a world full of needy boys, a man who expects nothing is the most dangerous kind of presence. 3. The echo effect. You want revenge. You want her to regret ever pulling away. Then disappear so profoundly, your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. It's called the echo effect, and it's one of the most overlooked psychological weapons a Stoic man can use. Here's how it works. When you're present in someone's life, especially emotionally, they build a rhythm around you. A digital rhythm, a texting rhythm, an attention rhythm. But when that rhythm breaks, abruptly and without explanation, it creates an emotional void. That void begins to echo. Your silence gets louder with time. Every moment she doesn't hear from you, your absence becomes the stimulus. It forces her mind to loop around the last interaction, reevaluate what went wrong, and suddenly she's the one replaying everything. She checks your profile, she notices your silence, and her ego. It can't handle that kind of mirror because women don't fear losing your presence. They fear being replaced by your indifference. Use this to your advantage. Don't text her. Don't respond. Don't explain. Let her sit in the silence. Let your absence haunt the ego she once used as a weapon. Because when you vanish without chaos, you become the chaos. 4. Reverse the mirror. When a woman ignores you, your biggest weapon is not words. It's reflection, and not the self-help kind. I'm talking about psychological warfare. You become a mirror, so clear, so brutally reflective, that she can no longer look at you without seeing herself and what she's done. Here's how. You don't accuse. You don't explain. You don't even react. You let your upgraded lifestyle, calm demeanor, elevated presence speak for you. When she checks your stories and sees you unfazed, when she hears through the grapevine that you're thriving without her validation, when your energy shifts from "what happened" to "who are you again," you trigger a deep internal panic. This is the Stoic method of ego reversal. You force her to see her actions, not from her own point of view, but through the impact they had on someone who refused to beg, chase, or fold. A mirror is silent. It reflects, it reveals, and it leaves the viewer to deal with the consequences. So, become the mirror. Let your silence reflect her shallowness. Let your growth reflect her loss. And watch how quickly ego melts when it sees its own reflection. 5. Be where she isn't. You want to destroy her ego, don't block her, don't ghost her, just start being where she's not. And make sure she knows it. Because nothing damages a woman's ego like realizing you no longer orbit around her gravity. Here's the psychology. When you stop showing up in the places she expects you, you create psychological dissonance. She starts noticing the void. You don't view her stories, she notices. You're not watching her new post, she notices. You used to hang out at that spot. Now you're posting from somewhere she has no access to. Now she's confused. And confusion is where ego goes to die. Most men try to win her back by being more visible, but that only feeds her sense of control. The Stoic man reclaims power by becoming strategically invisible, not to sulk, not to manipulate, but to show that his world doesn't revolve around breadcrumbs. And when she realizes she can't reach you the way she used to, digitally or emotionally, her need to control the narrative collapses. So disappear with purpose, not out of spite, out of self-respect, and let her feel the ache of absence in the very places she thought you'd never leave. 6. The final power move. The most dangerous move isn't silence, it isn't absence. It's the moment you reappear changed, and not to win her back, but to show her what she lost when she chose to ignore. Here's the twist most men never play. You go silent, you vanish, you evolve. Then you return, not to her inbox, not to her doorstep, but into the world, reborn. You've hit the gym, you've upgraded your social circle, you've built something meaningful while she played games. And now you reappear as a version of yourself that makes her question everything. That's the final Stoic move. You don't act to get her back. You evolve to the point where she couldn't get you back even if she tried. Let her watch. Let her see the man who emerged from her silence like a warrior from fire. Because when she sees that ignoring you was the worst mistake she could have made, when she realizes she no longer has access to you, her ego shatters. So remember, you don't react. You reveal. You don't respond. You rebuild. And when you return, not for her but for yourself, you don't just win. You redefine the entire game. So remember, you don't react. You reveal. You don't respond. You rebuild. And when you return, not for her but for yourself, you don't just win. You redefine the game. When a woman ignores you, it's not just silence. It's a test, a mirror, a game. But a Stoic man doesn't play. He builds. He turns silence into power, absence into obsession, and pain into purpose. Let her ego starve. Let her questions grow. While she's wondering what happened, you'll be somewhere better, sharper, stronger, unreachable. In the end, she'll remember your silence more than your words, and the man you became without her. If this message hit home like the video, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and share it with a brother who needs to hear this. This is the path of power. Stay focused, stay unshaken, keep moving forward,